Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss some of the critical aspects related to the poem Telephone Conversation by Wole Soyinka. It is in the continuation of the earlier video where we have discussed some of the preliminary aspects of this poem. Here are some of the critical aspects. The idea behind writing the poem Telephone Conversation is to depict how brutal and how devastating it can be for a man who is subjected to racial discrimination. The practice of judging someone on the basis of his color, race, caste, or social status instead of his inner capabilities presents the highly corrupt image of the society where individuality is at stake. Judging people based on their skin color in this way is ignorant, illogical, as well as dehumanizing. The poem Telephone Conversation, of course, deals with the anger of a man, the man who is subjected to racial discrimination, and of course, it reflects the conflict between the black and the white and points out the absurdity of racism. It is quite evident in the reading of the text. But another important point to observe in this poem is that the poet is trying also to highlight the impact of racial discrimination in the deep-rooted level and in microstructure of our society. This poem was written when the blacks in America, in other developed country, were given the equal rights and responsibilities constitutionally and politically, which was famously known as apartheid. But the point to observe here is that despite these rights at the macro level of the society, micro changes are actually hard to achieve. Racial discrimination does not end until man is changed personally. Political changes would not bring any changes, and the change is possible only through the mutual dialogue of the black and white. But this poem does not hint towards any possibility of such dialogue between the black and the white, so the problem persists. The open-ended structure of the poem represents the uncertain future of the blacks as the conversation abruptly ends from any side. Wole Soyinka in this poem has mainly used two literary devices to deliver his message: the message of anger and frustration towards social discrimination. One literary device is imagery. When he talks about lipstick coated, gold rolled, cigarette holder, piped, etc., etc., is actually the mental image of the lady made by the African speaker by just listening to her voice on the phone. Means the way she was speaking, it was like somebody speaking standing at some higher platform and speaking to someone who is standing at a lower platform. The attitude towards that is shown is that she is socially superior than him and belonging to some higher strata. Another image which is drawn in the poem is when the lady asks the speaker the question how dark he is. Here, Being inquired in this manner, the speaker feels so humiliated and angry that he sees red color everywhere. The image of huge red bus crushing the black tar is highly symbolic of how the major white community dominates and insults the minor African community. He becomes so angry when she further asks about the darkness of his color to confirm his identity that he sees, red everywhere. Another important poetic device which is applied in the poem is irony. The irony lies in the fact that the lady has given an advertisement about the flat, stating that the price is reasonable and indifferent to the color or ethnicity. But when the African room seeker confesses his identity that he is an African, she holds silence and does not respond to him. Her words and action here do not match. So it's a kind of irony here that her words in the advertisement are different and the action which she is showing now, they do not match. Her words in the advertisement appear to be liberal and generous, but the reality is that her action is full of hatred and indifference. So it is quite opposite of her words. This forceful irony is meant to attack the so-called social equality created by the whites. The next irony is that the African speaker self-confesses about his identity to the white lady when she reveals his color to the lady, which clearly shows his loser mentality and lack of confidence in his own color of the skin, upon which he does not have any control, since he's born as black and he has no control over that. And he has to be very meek, very humble, and he feels lower as if he has committed any crime. It is quite ironical that anyone should be submissive when he has actually committed no mistakes. So these are two devices which have been very forcefully used in this poem, which are the highlight of this poem. Conclusively, the poem, although deals with a very serious issue of racism and prejudice, but the good thing is that all these issues have been dealt in a very light-hearted, almost in a comical manner. This is the most beautiful aspect of this poem, and this is the natural style of the writing of Wole Soyinka. So these were some of the critical aspects of this poem, Telephone Conversation by Wole Soyinka. Thank you.